The Great Northern Railway's Derbyshire and Staffordshire extension had a number of sidings and branches coming off the main route between Nottingham and Derby. In 1880, the Great Northern Rail obtained an act for a 71 chain branch from Ilkeston to Shipley Colliery, but this was later altered to make the route go all the way through to Heanor, thus calling it the Heanor Branch. And the Heanor Branch was open for passengers on the 1st of July in 1891 and to goods traffic in January 1892. So let's take a little look at railmaponline.com. I can show you where we're starting and where we're going to end up. So there's the Great Northern Railway's Derbyshire and Staffordshire extension. That's that red line coming from the top right hand side, coming from Nottingham, cutting across the left down towards Ilkeston. We're going to begin today at Ilkeston North Station, which is actually situated on the Derbyshire Staffordshire extension before going down towards Stanton Junction. There used to be a branch going off towards the vast Stanton Ironworks. We'll then momentarily come away from the Great Northern Railway and the Heanor Branch and just have a little look at some of this former Midland Railway, because there are some railway relics for us to take a little look at there before we then head up to where Nutbrook Sidings were and also Nutbrook Colliery. We'll then push on towards where Shipley Lake is and what was once the American Adventure theme park, and there was a vast number of collieries around there. There was brickworks, gasworks and also a wharf, and plenty to see back in the day before falling shy of where Marpool station once was, and that will follow in part 2. So I'm now going to jump down to the site of where Ilkeston North Station was. So immediately you find me down here, right where there used to be a station, Ilkeston North, opened in 1878. It lasted until 1968. I've just come from the main road through Ilkeston. Now we've got a police station, and the station doctor's surgery or medical centre is on the site. So I'm going to follow the track bed forward to where there used to be a heck of a lot of railway lines. They were absolutely everywhere. There was pits, collieries, quarries, all manner of things down there which required railways to move these products along. Ilkeston North Station was opened in 1878 by the Great Northern Railway. It consisted of 2 platforms, and post-grouping it was the London and North Eastern Railway, eventually closing in 1964. It was located just here, right where I'm pointing now. If the line went up towards the top, that would head off towards Benley Viaduct. Stanton Junction is just below the station where the Heanor Branch came away, and also the Stanton Ironworks branch also came away. Nothing remains for the station, sadly, and in 1990 a police station and a doctor's surgery along with a pharmacy were built on the site. So after leaving the station site behind of Ilkeston North, the track bed continues on and it heads up in that trajectory, and we're going to find the area which was once dominated by railways. The Great Northern Railway though dominated the lot, and that went straight through the centre of the site. I believe there's still a bit of old track work to find down here, which is laid on part of the old, there was like a West Hallam coal processing site, and there are a few rails down to be seen. Let's go find them. So right about here was Stanton Junction, just about there, and it used to split into 3 different ways, did our Great Northern route on the way to Derby. Stanton Junction is a bit of a giveaway as to where one of them went. You're right, the ones to the left, it went off to Stanton Ironworks. Very little remains of that. A couple of bridge remains maybe, not really much to look at. Straight on, heading towards Derby Friargate, but our line to Heanor skirts off to the right at about a 45 degrees towards a 90 degrees angle. It's quite tight, and heads off towards Heanor, where we're going today. But first I want to show you something else that I've looked at before on this channel, a little bit of track work. Mentioned it previously, I'm hoping it's still there. So we've come down just here. That was Rutland Colliery number 3 just over there, but there was obviously 2 others at least. They were both over there. There was a Manners Colliery as well. Straws Bridge Pond is over there. The railway we're following is some way, it's curved around over there, and we're heading that way towards Shipley. This way is towards Derby. It's a little bit windier up here, so if you get any of that, I'm sorry, but what I want to show you is here. There was another track bed just here, Midland Railway, and from memory there's a little bit of track work hidden around here somewhere, but it could be quite overgrown being the time of year it is. But I'm going to give it a go. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. It's just down here. You'll like this. If you've not seen this before, you'll like this. Here we go, look. Here we go. So set of point work, last used in the late 80s, I believe, to go to the West Hallam coal processing site. And this particular bit has just been left here dormant ever since. Track bed continuing off that way, eventually meeting up with Stanton Ironworks. But yeah, set of points, look. You've got the old point lever through here, the mechanics of the set of points, look. So there would have been a lever just there fitted into that bracket, and the framework, even an old spring down there, look. It's coal here, look. But there's no end of chunks around here. And we can follow it around. Quite a few dogs over there. I think there's a kennels over there now, but you can see more clearly where the track work split into 2 and then comes to an abrupt end just there. There it is again, look. So that split into 2 just here, and of course that isn't the original track bed where the Great Northern once was. That's all been built up for flood prevention, I think. If we cross over where it was, there is another footpath, and I can briefly show you where this line went. Just hoping it's not too muddy. It's not rained for a couple of days, and it did come through here, look. It remains an old sleeper, look. Oh, look here, look, 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 look. I've never seen this before. So continuation of that track work, look. Well, that's something, isn't it? Straight there, and numerous sleepers, and then it turns into just a tree-lined track bed, look. But I can take you around the other side. That's really nice. Didn't expect to find that. That's a nice little find, isn't it? I didn't expect to find that. I've never stepped this side before, which just shows when I first started making these videos I didn't really stick my nose into as many places as I probably do now. Brilliant. So I've decided to keep following this old Midland Railway stretch because it will meet up with the Great Northern line that we're following today towards Heanor, where it comes around from Stanton Junction. It meets up where Nutbrook Sidings used to be. There's very little to see there. So this goes in that direction, and eventually, believe it or not, we'll meet up with where Nutbrook Sidings is eventually. A few little junctions down there was. Little railway lines everywhere. Might find a thing or 2 if we keep our eyes peeled. You can see this is where your track bed was, look. So up there is where we found that section of track work or 2. But the flatness is a bit of a giveaway of where this single track once ran. Rutland number 3 colliery was just the other side. I've run down here, and I think eventually we should merge a little bit closer to where the Great Northern lines joined on. There's a sleeper through there, look. Look at that. Old moss coloured sleeper there, look. I can see another covered over here. There's always something if you keep your eyes open, isn't there? There we go, look. Yeah, it's two of them. That one's probably exactly where it always was, given the angle. Let's carry on. Keep our eyes open. So just breaking away from this trackbed momentarily, there is a path that comes down here, and there is a pond or a small lake down here somewhere called Manor Floods. There used to be a trackbed going straight the way through it from one side to the other, joining on at Nutbrook Sidings that we haven't got to yet. Part of the Great Northern Railway, and it served Rutland Colliery number 3. Rutland Colliery was on the right hand side, and the junction onto the main line was a little bit down there. It's looking a bit messy down here, but I think, yeah, we'll be able to get over it. The lake, Manor Floods, is all this area just here. So this was all colliery land. I'm not going to venture down there, it really is flooded. Quite surprised actually, it's been quite dry the last few days. So Rutland Colliery number 3, 1 and 2 and Manors Colliery were just a stone throw over there, and the Great Northern Line up to Stanton Junction and to Nutbrook Sidings. I'm going to get back onto this little bit of Midland Railway branch, and then we will connect back up to our Great Northern Line to Heanor. Okay, back on the Midland Railways, that's where we came from. Pan you around, and we're going to continue down here some more. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled again, because you never know, odd sleepers might be lurking around as they were on the other bit. Marpool Junction is up next. The line split into two, went to Marpool Colliery, and also the opposite way going off towards Nutbrook Sidings. Okay, a little bit of an update for you. So we've come from down there, that track work and Stanton Ironworks eventually was down there. There was a junction just here, and it went off towards West Hallam Colliery number 1. Nothing up there to see, I believe it's just the old track bed that's been tarmacked. The track bed we've been following is a little bit down here, and that's gonna cross over the old Nutbrook Canal. Of course, sections of that closed nearly 200 years ago. Seems phenomenal, doesn't it? So we're going to go over a bridge, and then Marpool Junction, where another branch line went off towards Marpool Colliery. Nothing to do with Marpool in Nottinghamshire. Remember, we're in Derbyshire now. That's shot off, and you can walk bits of that, but there's not a great deal to see. So here's the bridge I was telling you about, and the old canal went below just here, and you can follow that. There is a footpath. Marpool Junction, I believe, should be up here, or was. There's the canal again down there, look. There we go. So one of my first ever videos back in 2019, I followed this. I'm pretty sure there was also a lock here somewhere on the canal. I'm sure there was. Okay, let's push on down here a little bit more, and we're getting closer to our Great Northern Railway. This is what it looks like down below, look. I think that's been put in, I'd say it looks like it's been put in later years, but then the ones either side doesn't look that old, does it? 1950s sort of build. So it was probably put in more recently than you'd expect it to be, because the railways are pretty old around here. Must have been replaced at some point and then closed not long after. So at this point the track bed widens, because we're at Marpool Junction where that was, and that went off to Marpool Colliery, single track. Up there you can walk half of it, and then half of it goes on to private land. It's gated, you sort of like hit a bridge and then it's all fenced off, and we don't want to be walking on that, do we? But there is a bridge prior to that that I think I've got a photo of, so I'll put that on right now if I've still got that. But I've got to negotiate my way. Oh, look at that. That could be a problem. Nope, So yeah, I've popped back to this bridge that we crossed over a few minutes ago. But on the other side, you got the blue brick look, but it turns into a stonework, thus suggesting it really isn't the original bridge that's sat up there. We know that, don't we? Because the railways are older than that concrete base of that bridge and the look of those three blue brick pillars. So after doing the abandoned track bed, I've just come down to where that bridge was, crossed over, popped back down. Look at that old culvert through there, look. You see it? Don't think I can really... Oh. Yeah, there's a little archway in there. Very, very old. Must only really be used when the water's high around it after a lot of rainfall. So, Marpool Junction, take 2. That would have been just round this bend. So, still on the canal, but Marpool Junction was over there. And the track bed would have come across here at some point, somewhere. Nutbrook Sidings was up there, so Marpool Junction branch, about 1.5 miles in length. That shot over there. Now our path is going to take a bit of a right turn up here somewhere, and then we'll be back on our Heanor Gate Great Northern Railway line. So coming along this way, along where the canal once was, the path, it takes a bit of a right turn. This is right here where the Marpool Colliery branch shot over. It come across just here away from Marpool Junction. Remember where all that muddy area was that I didn't carry on? Now you can follow a path down here, which I'm not going to do because it's taken us away from what we've come to look at today. But the canal and Marpool Colliery was up that way. Up here, first of all, we're going to join on to the line that came out of Rutland Colliery number 3. Remember, down at Manor Floods that we kind of had a look at. And then you got Nutbrook Sidings before joining on to our line to Heanor. Right, track bed off towards Rutland number 3 colliery was there. And all we got here was Nutbrook Sidings. Great Northern line back to Stanton Junction, probably about 100 metres over there. We're going to meet up with that here because there was a concentration of tracks. You've got Nutbrook Colliery just there. I think it's a water treatment plant now where that site is, but it was a concentration to serve all of the wagon workings, coal workings in this area, waiting for the journey onwards. And coming away from those sidings, there would have been a junction just here for Nutbrook Colliery. Nutbrook Colliery Junction was right here, branching off to where the pit was, all an expanse of land over there. We're going to push on this way. It's kind of been landscaped as we approach where Shipley Wharf was. Shipley Wharf was also the terminus for the Nutbrook Canal. Completely landscaped. Again, I think there's a great big hill there because I think it was open casted at some point. But there was a brickworks up there as well, and the track bed then hit our theme park, the American Adventure. The railway once went straight alongside where Shipley Lake is now. It really is hard to imagine all those times you'd have walked around the American Adventure, pretty much on the side where, if you remember, where the twin, and if you're familiar with the theme park, the second entrance that was opened after the first one, where there was subsidence, I believe, there used to be a railway bridge or some abutments to walls as you walked into the theme park. And then on the right hand side you'd have, I think it was the Twin Looper. It was like a bungee sky coaster ride. On the left, who can't forget the Buffalo ride? Our track bed went pretty much smack bang through there. So all of this around here was Shipley Wharf. This is where the Nutbrook Canal terminated. Our track bed once came through, and there was also a brickworks and a gasworks around here too, and it's now the home to some Highland cows. I managed to get a bit of a nosy at them. They're just over there. There's about half a dozen of them. Really, really cute. I know somebody that absolutely love to come and visit these. So the American Adventure theme park was just over there. Prior to that, a number of pits, collieries. I think the gasworks was there, that brickworks was there that I mentioned. Gonna lose the track bed still, but then we will pick it up and walk along it once on the other side of what was the theme park. Which is quite unbelievable. So definitely not reopening the theme park again, ever, are they? Track beds, they split into about 3 different tracks going in different directions. You can see where those houses are. They sort of went off in like a diagonal kind of direction over that way. We've got to walk up there. I need to think, I remember when this was full of cars. You've still got all the spacings, look, the white markers, and the buses used to come down and drop everybody off. I'm going to go down here to where the newer main entrance to the theme park was, and there was evidence of a bridge. Interesting fact, they filmed a young Krypton factor down here as well, just beside where the main entrance was, just to the left as you walked in. Bit of useless information that, but it did happen, and I think it was on children's ITV. These look like the remnants of something, don't they? Potentially old theme park lighting masts. I think this was like a drop-off pickup point and you could loop around and go through it, I think. I'm sure the old entrance was just around this bend. So looking right in, the stonework is just there. I'm going to try and zoom in for you so you can see it a bit better. And the bridge used to go across, so you used to walk in and pay here and where the bridge was, and then you'd end up where the theme park opened up to you. Right, now I've got to go up and over the hill, follow the old, pretty much abandoned, disused road now, which headed off towards the main road at Shipley, where countless cars used to come in and buses and coaches to bring tourists and theme park visitors. The track bed used to go smack bang through. I'm going to show you on maps where it went on railmaponline.com. So just south of Shipley Lake, there was the Wharf at Shipley, there was a brickworks and also a gasworks. On the right hand side to the lake at Shipley, there was Shipley Colliery, otherwise known as Woodside Pit. At the northern side, there was also another colliery, that was Shipley Colliery. That's all that was named, that one. And there was also an engine shed on site. It used to house some steam locomotives. The track bed came in across to where Shipley Lake was and came across in the direction going along the edge of the lake, right where those houses are. Coming across in this direction. Now on the right hand side was Woodside Pit, roughly over where those trees are on the right. Looking at it this way, the track bed would have come from the left hand side, cutting across in a diagonal direction the way the drone was going. Here again you can see Shipley Lake on the left hand side. You can see the railway running along the edge. It's like the lake has a completely different profile. Take a note of that road coming from the right hand side going left towards the centre of the photograph. There it is again, look, coming from the right hand side down towards the track bed, and you can see some sidings with some wagons. So here it is from another angle, look, that cottage was right where that road crossed over the railway. Isn't that just beautiful that we can have a comparison of the two? And here is a photograph of Shipley Woodside Colliery, one of many in the area surrounding Shipley Lake, and you can just again make out that road in the bottom right hand corner. Now looking at this photograph is really interesting. Over here you notice there's a bridge down there, look. That is where the branch looped around and headed off towards Marpool station, which is going to feature in the next video. We're going to look at this curve in part 2. Over here you got this main Shipley Colliery and all manner of sidings, and there was also an engine shed down there, and both track beds met up just up here on the top left and continued on towards Heanor. So coming down here, you've got Shipley Woodside Pit over there. Shipley Pit and its pumping station is just out of sight there. The track bed we want is the other side of that, but you can just make out the pumping station through there, look, dead in the centre. And there was an engine shed down there. The track bed we want is a little bit over there. The one through the theme park is down there. So it's split into two at this point. Marpool station was just a bit further down. Now we've left pit lane behind, just there, that goes up to the main road. Over there was the winding wheels and the pump house. And down here, well, there was junctions and triangles, bang, right in the middle of this spot we're approaching now. I'm going to jump to round map online to give you a bit of an idea of what was happening, because the lines, they split in every direction. One of them even shot off towards the Arrowash Valley line about half a mile over here. And there was also Marpool station not far in front of us. So the line off towards the Arrowash Valley line kind of bombed its way over there. The line towards Marpool station, well, that's over here somewhere. It curves around, and the other line was over there, and it met up again further down. I didn't think I'd be able to walk this way. It's not a track bed, but it is a path, and I don't know if to try and follow it or not, to see if it will take us along the track bed eventually where Marpool station was. I'm really going to suggest that this was the track bed down there. I mean, that's quite remarkable if it is. I expected to be at this level what I'm walking on now, but that's been cut out. It's absolutely chucking it down at the moment, so it's worked out well. Don't know how squidgy this is going to be down here. There we go, look. That's definitely a track bed, isn't it? I didn't expect this. There's nothing to see but the dugout cutting of this former railway going into Shipley Colliery. Well, it appears there's absolutely no trace of anything railway related down here. That looks a squidgy mess down there. So, but that's brilliant, isn't it? I'm going to get myself back up here and follow the footpath along the edge of the track bed. Hopefully the rain will be gone. Hopefully I can actually even get up here. There we go. Hopefully the rain will be gone. Sounds like it's lighting up again, and we can push on to where Marpool station was. So we're going to leave it there right now at the curve of this former line heading up towards Marpool station. We're going to continue looking at this in part 2. The video was getting a bit too long at 50 minutes, so I've split it into 2. So there's plenty to see. There's some bridges that's worth looking at, and also we'll get to see the remains of Marpool railway station. It's fantastic. There's some platforms and all sorts left to see just there, and all manner of stuff to take note of as we head on towards Heanor Gate, which was the terminus of this railway line, as you can see just here in this black and white photo. So plenty to come back for in part 2. That's going to follow on straight after this one. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. All the social medias are popping up below. We've got X, Facebook, Instagram, and also TikTok. If you'd like to follow me on any of those, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you to all channel members. You can join on the link below. Bye bye.